Good evening. I'm Christopher Sullivan Diaz, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Nebraska moved to 7-0 by winning the Emerald Coast Classic Beach Bracket Championship in Niceville, Florida. The Big Red capped the crown with a 91-82 victory over Virginia after powering past Purdue-Fort Wayne 80-57. Nancy Lieberman Award candidate Britt Prince captured tournament MVP honors by averaging 24 points and 6 rebounds in the 2 tournament games. In other Husker news, the number 1 Nebraska volleyball team capped an unbeaten regular season with a sweep of Ohio State at John Cook Arena at Bob Devaney Sports Center on Saturday night. Nebraska finished the regular season unbeaten for the 3rd time in school history, dropping only 7 sets overall and 1 in Big Ten play. And finally, in some NFL action on Monday Night Football, the Giants and Patriots match up at 7:15 p.m. Central. Patriots are on a 9-game win streak and look to continue that. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the Retirement Compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 1 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Latif at shotgun depth, takes a snap, play action fake, rolls right, looks left, throw back on the wheel route. Johnson's got it at the 22-20, 15-10. Johnson breaks a tackle. He's in. Touchdown, Huskers.
Harper Murray sails it to the back middle. Bad passer out of system, bumps that left, roll shot across. Here come the Huskers on match point. The side, Andy Jackson. Kaboom! We're done in L.A. 25-20, the verdict in the 3rd. Andy Jackson and the Huskers huddle. Victorious yet again, 26-0 with 2 weeks and 4 matches to go.
Sanford across the line with a pump fake. Now it's Mast with the ball, top of the circle. Lost it, got it back. Did Price Sanford, Mast 3. Got it! Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. What a clutch 3 by Mast. And he did not have to shoot that.
Hake looks to get it in. Into Petrie up the left sideline. 60-foot jumper. You betcha! You betcha! A 60-foot miracle from way down under. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into the show. So much to get into, lots to cover today. The volleyball teams, number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk a little bit about that. Some hoops. Amy Williams going to be joining us here in hour number 2. But we start with some of the big news of the day, as Matt Rule announcing that the program will move on and not retain the defensive coordinator, John Butler, following the loss to Iowa. And we're going to talk a lot about that here over the next hour. Damon Benning set to join us here in just a few minutes, so we'll get his take on that. But, Kyle, you after the game on Friday, you could tell Coach Roll obviously was very disappointed and knew, and he's just so convicted about making sure that this program is moving in the right direction. We knew that he was probably going to have some decisions to be made, and the first one is never easy and a tough one for him, but moving on from the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, we've heard Coach Rule say a lot of good things about Coach Butler throughout the year, and I don't necessarily think this is a total indictment on the job that he had done for the entire season. I think that when you look at the back half of the season, specifically the final 2 games, you went to Penn State, physical, tough team that can run the ball. We know what they wanted to do, and then you go into another game on Black Friday where you know exactly what Iowa wants to do. And then we saw also some of the pass defense take a step back in moments against Iowa, and especially against Penn State. Guys were running wide open. So you saw a little bit of regression in those final 2 games. And I think there was something that had to happen every year as a head coach. That's why, Coach Rule and a lot of these guys get paid a lot of money. You have to make really tough decisions. And this is a really tough decision for Coach Rule. I mean, it's a guy that he's called brilliant. And I think there's a lot to that because he's such a brilliant football mind. He's coached in the NFL. But for him, I think he realized that this is an opportunity to get a fresh start, maybe to get somebody that has done that job over a long period of time, specifically maybe in this conference. Who knows what Coach Rule's looking for in that next defensive coordinator. But when you see how things ended in those final 2 games. You knew there had to be certain changes, and unfortunately for John Butler, it turned into his position, him moving on from him in that defensive coordinator position. But he's a good coach, and I think there's a lot of good things that he did here. I just think that there had to be tough decisions made, and maybe that's one of maybe a few more that have to be made, but we know that for certain is one that had to be made for Coach Rule.
Again, we'll talk more about that here coming up in just a few minutes with Damon Benning, but did want to go back, and again, just a disappointing finish to the season, and we even heard Coach Rule talking about that at his press conference. This is the time you want to be playing your best football, continuing to get better, and just unfortunately got away from them. You saw some good things, especially out of the gate, the start by Nebraska, but just some mistakes led to some Iowa being able to capitalize on some of those mistakes, and ended up getting away from the Huskers. And again, just not an ideal way to finish and play your last regular season game, the last game inside Memorial Stadium, the last game here as a Husker for those seniors here at home. But fortunately, you got another one. You put yourself in a position where it's not your last game that you're ever going to play as a Husker, and so for some of these guys, they get another opportunity. And this month is a massive month moving forward in terms of development and getting some of those younger guys. We saw so much growth in this time a year ago, and it's been a time that this program has missed out on for several years, but just a really important time. But you cannot hide the fact that it was disappointing the way that the season ended.
Yeah, you have signing day coming up here in a couple days, so there's some good news on the horizon of some new Huskers that'll be into the fold, and some reinforcements in that area. And then the long-awaited transfer portal period that'll take place starting January 2nd. There's guys that you see on Twitter when you look, there's the intention to join the transfer portal, and whether it's right or not, there's those conversations that are had between coaches of other teams and players that have the intent to go into the transfer portal, and through some of the scuttlebutt that they hear. So there's posturing right now to see what your roster is going to look like, and I think as a staff, you have a good understanding, and you have a full season of tape. You'll have the bowl game, you'll have the bowl practices that help, but you'll have an opportunity to assess and see what you need. You have your signing class coming in, and the bowl practices will help some of the young, especially defensively on the front. It's a young front. It's a young defense. So you'll have the opportunity to get those guys, to get them more reps, get a bowl game, and then to see what immediate impact guys can you bring into this program. They're going to make a difference, not just on the defensive side, but on the offensive side as well. So there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. It makes coaches tear their hair out. I'm sure Pat Stewart is tearing his hair out this time of year. So it's going to be the next month or so, next couple of months, it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this roster shapes itself out, because also you factor in roster retainment. How many of these guys stick around? How many of the guys that you hope are going to be in Husker uniforms that are young, that you want to retain and you want to develop, how many stick around? And you just don't know the answer to that until you get more clarity once the transfer portal opens. So
were you surprised at how Friday unfolded?
Oh, yeah. What's weird is it didn't seem like it was trending in that direction, right? 24-16 at half. The drop punt by Barney that turned into the safety that made it 26-16. Then Iowa takes the ensuing possession for a touchdown. All of a sudden, game's over, right? It's 33-16. TJ's playing, it seems like, on one leg at that point. He's not 100%. You're putting so much on the shoulders of Emmett Johnson. I said this during the broadcast. There wasn't a whole lot of separation from the receivers from the Iowa DBs. There just wasn't a whole lot of guys getting open. There were a few balls in the end zone that you hope those guys can come down with. One that stands out is Quinn Clark in the back right of the end zone. You just got to find ways to make those plays in a rivalry game. 50-50 balls. Nebraska they weren't making plays. Field position, especially early, was in Iowa's favor. There was a bone-crushing drive right before half that made it 24-16. They went, 9 plays, 75 yards right before the half, and only 2 minutes, 16 seconds. Those are drives you just cannot let happen. You turn a 1-point game into an 8-point game, and the complete momentum of the entire game just swings at that point. I don't think anybody predicted, considering the last 7 were within 7 or so points, for it to be 40-16
and low scoring
and 13-10.
Yeah. And look, I know that it's been picked apart and people have given their thoughts on this, and so we won't spend too much time in it because we've got a lot to get to. But I do want to make sure we give Emmett Johnson his flowers. We've done that, and I think we've done a really good job highlighting his success. But you're talking about something that he did, rushing for 217 yards. I mean, the post-game notes that Keith and his crew sent out, I mean, it was so much about Emmett and the things that he accomplished, the 200 yards rushing. That just does not happen against Iowa defenses. I mean, it hadn't happened in a long time. I think only 4 players have done it since 2015, had over 200 yards rushing. And this is all, he's continued to do this 5 straight 100-yard games when everybody knows that's what Nebraska's going to do and trying to take him out of it. Credit to the offensive line for giving him some space, but then Emmett just has been so tough to get down. So did want to make sure and mention, I mean, heck of a job by him. He did everything he could. And there was at one point, and didn't get this in on the broadcast, but it was one of the field goals. He came over to the defense and he said, "That was my bad. I should have scored. We should have gotten in on that one. Keep fighting. You know, we'll keep trying to punch it in." But he came over and was like, "Hey, that's on me. I got to go score on that drive." And so you could tell he came in on a mission, and certainly Emmett Johnson did his part.
He had a career high in rushing yards at the half.
Yeah.
Previous was 176, I believe it was, against Maryland. He had more than that at the half. He's had the best running back season here at Nebraska since Amir Abdullah, and that's a pretty big name to throw around. And you saw the emotion if you go back on X and you look at the videos of him leaving the field, the emotion of him walking off the field. You hope it's not for the last time. He is a decision that has to be made now. And for Emmett, it's all positive because the thought is, can he become pro after this year? If you're a Nebraska fan, you cross your fingers and hope that he could come back. But this is an all-time single-season running back year and what Emmett Johnson has put together. And also kudos to Donovan Raiola and that offensive line that had a whole lot of issues. You go back to what the conversation was after the Michigan game to Elijah improving, Lutowski, Evan Spindler being pretty solid all year, Turner Corcoran playing some of his best football in some of his final games at right tackle, sort of thrown into that position. I think as a run-blocking unit, that's a big reason why Emmett has had a lot of success. I think you give a lot of credit to that offensive line and how they steadied the ship along with Emmett Johnson. There's been some positives for sure, and those are 2 of them.
It'll be interesting to see. I talked with Emmett after the game. I know he had his press conference too. He's going to go back home. A lot of thought. He's a very faithful, religious person. Going to pray a lot about it. See where it is. I don't know. I don't get an inclination one way or another. But if it is the final, season or final game that we saw Emmett play, and he does decide to go on, I think he's done a lot in terms of what a special season, but also I just talked to one of the new running back recruits that was instrumental in him wanting to come here, seeing what Emmett Johnson and the development that this program had with Emmett and how they were able to get him to work the season that he had this year. So I think he certainly made his mark, and some of these younger running backs looking and seeing what, this program can do for maybe a not as touted of a high school running back, but look what the position that they put Emmett Johnson in.
Yeah, I don't think Emmett knew that he would be in the setup that he is now or have the season that he did. Remember, his name was in the transfer portal last year after the season, and the thought was that maybe you wouldn't get him back, and maybe EJ didn't think he would flourish in this offense the way that he did. But credit to Emmett Johnson and the work that he's put in and the professional manner in which he's gone about his business. He has been one of a kind on the field, off the field. He's dealt with a lot of success, and it was unfortunate to see him not be a finalist for that Doak Walker Award because he certainly has earned it. And sometimes, like we said, I think last week, some of that goes to team success and things, and you can get a little bit more attention when you have more wins. But for Emmett, all-time year for him, and we'll see. Does he play in the bowl game, right? I think we'll learn more about what this roster may look like before we play that next game, because now in the culture of college football, who stays, who goes, a lot of that can be determined of who's going to play in the bowl game coming up here for the Huskers at the end of the month.
All right, got to get to a break. Coming up, Damon Benning going to join us, talk all the latest news of today. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive. from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
From the chant of Husker power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more at appliedconnective.com and go Big Red.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
Think a bunch of IT gurus would have anything in common with a dominant college volleyball team? Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, serving Nebraska businesses for nearly 20 years. We're proud to have a few things in common with our beloved Huskers, namely that we're also a group of hardworking and highly skilled individuals that make up one dynamic team. From our IT and cybersecurity all-stars to our phone, physical security, infrastructure, and audio-video pros, we're one team that can expertly manage all your technologies. Discover why it's a game changer to partner with us at appliedconnective.com. And as always, go Big Red.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody, and the news of the day as Matt Rule announcing that the Huskers have parted ways with the defensive coordinator John Butler. So to talk about that and to recap the game that we saw against Iowa, we welcome in I get to say it, the third member of our broadcast team, Damon Benning, here with us on Sports Nightly. DB, you ready?
I am ready. How are you two doing?
We're good. This is a news splash today. Now, we've had an opportunity to talk about the defense all year, the highs and the lows. And look, there's no way around it. These last two have been some lows against two physical teams, Penn State, Iowa. At points on Friday, I think you looked at the defense and say there are some good things, especially coming out of the half right away. And then after Ja'Cory drops that punt and then you get the safety and all that, everything sort of went downhill. But this decision today just sort of outlined it. What do you make of moving on here from John Butler?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. Number one, I think Coach Rule is going to be a coach that understands sense of urgency. Now, the thing that he's got to be able to do is you got to have a sense of urgency without coming across as in a panic. And I don't think he is. I think he thought about this. I think he's kind of watched the progressions. I think quietly it started a little bit with UCLA in the passing yards, if that makes any sense. And then you get Penn State and giving up passing yards. And then you get Iowa and 166 yards passing. And I'll get to the run defense here in a second. But as a guy that likes to put together defenses and works, I love defense, right? You can't stop everything. So I think even systemically, I could look over the course of the season and say, okay, I think they're trying to do this. They're going to allow this, but they're not going to allow this. They're going to take this away and make you do this. As the season progressed, it started to really blur and get away from me. And I think if you're not going to give up chunk runs, if you're going to give up chunk runs, but not chunk runs for touchdowns, you could talk me into not letting them throw it over your head either. But when all those things are starting to happen, then I think it gives you pause. So that's number one. Number two is when you progressively get worse in some areas as the season goes on, it could be a couple of things. It could be, hey, listen, we haven't trained properly, or we're a little fatigued, or listen, the message that coaches are trying to send it's not resonating. The guys aren't bought in. It could be a culmination of things, right? So you start with whomever is at the top of that defense. And then lastly, I'm telling you guys, this could be nothing. This is totally just DB. You guys are around me a ton. This is me just peeling back the layers of the onion. And I think both of you know this. I did not love the comments last week and the week before that about kind of intimating what needed to happen in the portal, right? Where I think he was answering either Sam's question or somebody's question during a press conference. And you guys know that didn't sit well with me, just because as I'm listening to that, if I'm a current player, I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing while you're waiting for the cavalry to come? Everybody wants better players. And it just sent a message that was twofold. Number one, what we have isn't good enough. Now, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. And that's going to sound crazy. You're like, well, clearly it hasn't. They've been giving up this, and the other. You know what you guys could do is you could teach it different. You could coach it different. You could say to yourself, hey, listen, if we want to stop the run, this is what it takes. We can do it with 270 pounders. We can do it with 280 pounders. We can do it with 290 pounders. We can do it with 300 pounders, because this whole thing got convoluted. And I hate the narrative. And you guys know it's a hot button topic for me. Bigger doesn't mean you stop the run. So this narrative that, hey, we need to be bigger, no, you need to teach it differently if you're going to be a move explosive front. I just watch these teams. Iowa doesn't play with a 300-pounder. And yeah, Nebraska ran it down their throats. But this is also the same offensive line that has been maligned for whatever the reason the course of the year, but came into the game as the 12th ranked rushing defense in the country without a 300-pounder. So don't tell me about we need bigger or no, you can coach it different, and it's a mindset. You stop the run with toughness and effort. You stop the pass game with talent. Anybody that disagrees with that hasn't been trying to coach against either. I don't care if you talk to Kiffin or Saban or the late, great Bo Schembechler. Doesn't matter. You stop the run with effort and toughness. You can skin a cat a multitude of ways. 3 front, 4 front, 5 down, whatever. It starts with a temperament and a mindset. So when you're intimating that you're waiting for the cavalry to come while you still have games to play, it lets me know 2 things. Number one, sends the wrong message to the guys that you're coaching when you still have meaningful games to play. And number 2, not everything is for everybody. Just you keep that in your pocket, and you know that that's something that you have to address in the offseason. But don't let yourself off the hook in the meantime. It just, and you guys know this because you talked to me off air too. It just did not resonate well when he said it. And this isn't revisionist history. I said it real time.
Is there?
I was going to say, all right, that's all the time we have.
Yeah.
Nothing like
awesome.
a 6-minute,
But that's why we have TV.
That was great. That was great.
He knows how to boil it down. But, are you too far in the season to be able to have this overhaul in coaching and schematics when, okay, we're in the bye week? Is there a whole lot that you can do, or are you at a point in the season where you sort of are what you are? 3 down, 4 down, bare front. These are the guys we have. It's a young defense too. I think we tend to say that, and you can call that an excuse. But on the back end, it's experience. But you look at some of the guys on that front. It's pretty young, and it's hard to be successful with a young front. But when you talk about changing schematics and how you coach it, is it almost too much, too late at that point in the season? If you're John Butler, if you're this defensive coaching staff, where we have the ability to make these wholesale changes for Penn State and Iowa?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question, and I'm not going to go super myopic and best case scenario, but I'll simply say this. I'll say 2 things. Number one, the philosophy or the ideology that goes into stopping the run, it's never too late. You have to demand it. When I'm playing a puller, I need to take it on. When I see a scoop block, I need to take it on. If I want to stop the run, I need to condense holes. If I'm fitting on the second level, I need to be decisive. So those things aren't schematic. It's a temperament. So to your question, if it's Penn State or it's during a bye week, you can train in such a way. We saw it last year with Iowa in Iowa City. We were terrified to play against that team, given how Nebraska couldn't get off the field on 3rd down and some things that were happening. And Nebraska shut down a guy, and they shut Caleb Johnson down outside of that swing pass. And it starts with a temperament. Now, to your point, Casey, sure, you don't light switch that thing over a bye week, but if it's being taught, you can adjust the schematics as need be, but it starts with a mindset. A mindset is something that you can kind of develop. You need a couple of weeks for it to be a habit, but it's almost never too late to reiterate physicality. And I don't think it's a team, and I don't want to start this narrative. You guys got to hear my heart here, because I think Nebraska is a physical place with some physicality. You don't run the ball the way that they did against Iowa and literally run it down their throat and practice the way that those guys do without physicality. So hear my heart when I say that. But I will say this: when you're seeing either counter or pin and pulls or zone blocking, there's a methodology that has to go into your head where you just will not allow it to happen. That's what happens when you stop the run. Indiana plays 1 300-pounder, and he's like 302. We waited on the mythical Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker combo for almost 6 years. And if we're being completely honest, Jess, you know this. Year 3 Ty wasn't year 6 Ty. And we weren't happy with the way Nash played last year all the time, given what he had done the year previous. So it was, did wrestling wear down Ty Nash, and he must be hurt. So our revisionist history drives me up the wall. So just clear the slate for everybody with these narratives that we want to do to be right as opposed to get it right, and say it needs to start with a mindset. The body types are overrated. Waiting for the cavalry to come is overrated. again, I just watched the team finish 12th in the country, stopping the run that doesn't play a 300-pounder. So I don't buy into kind of what goes with it. Coaches aren't afforded the luxury to just look back at the end and say, oh, this is what must have happened. What has to happen is you go through it in the off season, you train that way. What you have to ask yourself is where did we go wrong? Was it miseval? Was it did we not teach it the way that we wanted it? Because I think whatever the outcomes you want are, it has to be intentional. You don't luck into stopping the run. You don't luck into tackling angles. You don't luck into any of that. It has to be intentional. So is it too late? No. It starts with a temperament and a mindset. And it basically is, hey, they're just not going to do this. Now, whether at the end of the day it's over, you guys, and you're saying, mission accomplished, you do need to feel like you laid it on the line in order to accomplish it. Iowa isn't always going to stop the run. Minnesota isn't always going to stop the run. Wisconsin isn't always going to stop the run. But what they had done historically since Nebraska has been in the Big Ten is come in with a mindset. It's never too late to start that.
All right, we've got to get to a break, but we'll have more of our conversation with Damon Benning coming up right after this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Contracting your premium diesel just got energized at Central Valley Ag. With CVA's Refer a Friend program, you and a friend can each earn $100 back. Refer a friend, that friend contracts a minimum of 1,000 gallons of premium diesel, and you both get a $100 credit. Power your performance with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and Roadmaster XL. Details at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Here at Boot Barn, our objective is to build the perfect boot. We do take our time ensuring that every step is done correctly. For a boot to last you for a lifetime, you've got to properly build the boots. Hand craftsmanship is, in my opinion, the only way you're going to achieve that. We handcraft our boots. 160 people take a boot from start to finish. We have skilled artisans at every stage of the game. We've been handcrafting boots since the beginning here at Boot Barn, and we'll continue to do so.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's the Ford Black Friday Sell-a-thon, and it's go time with great deals across the Ford lineup. Get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers during the Black Friday Sell-a-thon. Now get 0%, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Hurry in, these value-driven offers end December 1st. Go to your Midwest Ford dealers today. Official vehicle of your Kansas City Chiefs, driven by value.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Damon Benning joining us as well. All right, DB, diving back into just moving forward with this defensive coordinator position. If you're Matt Rule, what will he be looking for to replace John Butler, and who he will be looking for to lead this defense moving forward?
So, I think he may have a little bit of a philosophical shift. And I don't mean from a 3 to a 4 to whatever. I mean, I think when he was looking for this coordinator, he was looking more for a solutions guy, right? A guy that had answers to problems as they presented themselves currently, where you remember going through this search process for a defensive coordinator. He loved a lot of the things that Nebraska had done previously. He liked the way they practiced. He liked their toughness. He liked their attention to detail. And so he really stressed and fretted over finding a defensive coordinator. The popular narrative belief that came to fruition is that he played it safe and going with Coach Butler. There couldn't be anything further from the truth. Coach Butler is a tremendously bright individual, and he's a really good teacher. Now, philosophically, it has to mesh with where you're at. And so really good teachers understand that it doesn't have to be their way of disseminating information. It has to be the best way that's most efficient to the receiver of the information. I can be as smart as I want to be. KC can be as smart as he wants to be. You can be as smart as you want to be. But if you don't know how to teach me, based on where I'm at, meeting me with the kind of that blank slate theory, I'm going to struggle to learn. And you may have won a couple of Alice Buffett, Teacher of the Year awards. Doesn't mean that you're incapable of teaching. It just means that there's a disconnect. So the first thing that I think Coach Rule is looking for is somebody that can get their mindset of how they want to play defense instilled in everybody that they're coaching. You may not have to be the biggest. You may not have to be the fastest. You may not have to be the toughest. Whatever it is that you need to be, teach that. It's not so much about being multiple. I look at some of these really good defensive teams, and multiplicity. Matt Patricia will get a lot of credit for his defensive coordinator prowess. But at the end of the day, they play with a temperament, right? Iowa, I've sat in those meetings. I know what Coach Parker's after. I know quarter, half. I know that he knows that the field is 53 and a half yards long, and from hash to hash, it's this, and we're willing to give up this, but we're not willing to give up that, and it's instilled over and over. So, again, to your question, Jess, he's looking for somebody that can instill the mental makeup of what it takes to play good defense in the individual players. The second thing I think is he may find a guy that has familiarity within the conference. This is a very, very difficult conference to coach in. The head coaches are fantastic. Assistant coaches are fantastic. Position coaches are fantastic. So I think familiarity with what it takes to win within this conference may be a prerequisite. And then third, I think he's got to be a guy that has an infectious personality. And that goes to my first point. It's, do the guys that I have to coach in 2025, 26, 27, 28, are they going to vibe with what it is that I believe in? Is there a rate of connectivity? if there is, I think they have to be considered for the job.
And the different levels too, right? Of players. Like you might have a young freshman and then, because I think there is clearly a difference with the older defensive backs and then some of the younger guys. You know, I think to your point about the teaching, you have to be able to teach the different levels. I think Kyle's got one more to you.
Listen, that's a fantastic point, Jess, because with an older, mature defensive backfield, you probably fooled yourself into some luxuries and maybe some overcompensating that you may not have had roles been reversed, right? Where if you're playing this 3-3-5 or whatever it is that you want to focus on, and you've got a Buford and a Singleton and a Sierra Wright and a Malcolm Hartzog, it can coach you into being spoiled philosophically, right? And you may treat your defensive line. It's not even intentional. It's subconscious, you guys, where it's like, all right, I got these guys on the back end. Look at what everybody's talking about preseason. Look at who's getting all the attention. Look at who's getting all the media, the interviews. Subconsciously, it can mess with your psyche in terms of what you really need. So you can say, hey, in Vegas at Big Ten Media Days, I want to be an explosive movement front. My guys on the back end can clean it up. But then all of a sudden we lose a Malcolm Hartzog. Buford doesn't develop the way that we want it. We want him to. We've got to move Sierra Wright to the nickel spot, real time. Donovan Jones has now become the full-time boundary corner. These aren't excuses. They're explanations for what you thought you were going to teach philosophically going in versus how it ended up being. And I think the youth in the defensive line, to your point, Jess, I think it was a little bit of an oversight on their part.
Offensively, there's still that question mark, right? Of is Dylan going to be the guy next year? I mean, there's question marks throughout college football of what guys are going to do, and of course, TJ was a little banged up in the game. Emmett was what he was, but in terms of a skill position where Nebraska sets up from a skill position standpoint of what's behind Emmett and the development of Mackay and Isaiah and some of those other guys, and then. What did you see out of Ja'Cory this year, Dane Key and Isaiah Hunter? Hunter had a really good stretch in the season. It almost felt like, too, when you look at the tight ends, sort of were kind of non-existent within the offense the last couple weeks. Mm-hmm. When you evaluate the offense, just sort of outside of Emmett, I think you take that out, and there's a different quarterback in there that can, of course, change things. But how do you evaluate where the offense has what they've done with all these pieces?
Another fantastic question. You guys should do this for a living. I think so let me start with the individual position groups. Emmett Johnson's development, Mackay Nelson, Mosey, Emmett Johnson kind of speaks for itself. If we're being honest and we all take truth pills, nobody thought he was going to be that good. Nobody thought he was going to be as good as he was. And so not only is it a testament to Emmett, but it's also a testament to the development. The hard downhill running, the toughness. That outcome was intentional. That's the way that they're coached. That's what they're looking for in the running back room. Mackay Nelson runs angry. Mosey runs where he has got this relentless, you better make sure I'm down. Like, that's coached. Some of it is innate, but it is developed as the season goes on and they're being coached. Those guys played with good physical toughness. The tight end room is interesting where, I look at a guy like Harburg, who I thought is really, really talented, did not really develop as an every down guy, utilized the way that I wanted him to. Luke Lindenmeyer, he's going to get paid to play on Sundays. We can argue or debate till the cows come home on his utilization. Some of that is concept. Some of it is trust with the young quarterback with the intermediate passing game. There's a lot kind of that goes into that. For every time you throw the ball to the tight ends, that means your best player in Emmett Johnson isn't touching the ball. So they have to negotiate that. You get Markway back healthy. You get young guys like Ingerson. You get Carter Nelson, who probably should have had more playing time. I'm okay with what's happening in the tight end room. Along the offensive line, KC, you could make the case it was the most steady unit. For as maligned as it was, and for as much as we like to cry and whine about what was going on at the tackle spot, Spindler's leaving a better player. Elijah Pritchett got better. Turner Corcoran was on the back of a milk carton, left for dead. You could make the case he played his best football against Iowa. Justin Evans made a seamless transition from guard to center, and Henley Rutofsky was arguably the most underappreciated offensive lineman we had on this football team. So I'm not even willing to entertain or listen to the development along or the toughness of the offensive line. It's easy to be down on those guys when tackles or seemingly struggle. Some of it is play calling, some of it was holding the ball. But if you want to talk about development and toughness, offensive line is not on my radar. The facts speak for themselves. They ran the ball down Iowa's throat. And don't tell me it was, and listen, I'm as big an EJ fan as there was, but guard center, like Elijah Pritchett was playing his best ball.
You got to give him some space, right?
Yeah, like exactly. Like that line is good. Now, I will say this about the wide receivers because it's interesting, you guys. For as good as they were blocking on the perimeter and their toughness, I almost wondered, was something lost as we got late in November with their ability to do what they started the season being really, really good at, and that's catching the football, right? Did they rob from Peter to pay Paul? I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm just saying that a receiving core that was that physical and that dominant on the perimeter as blockers that progressively didn't win as many 50-50 balls as the season went on. Maybe they lost a little bit. Where was it a depth standpoint? Did they wear down? Well, listen, for as good as they were on the perimeter, the catching and the ball making plays outside the numbers, the second half of the season did seem to dip a little bit, but I like the development of toughness. They probably just need to get a few more bodies ready, if that makes sense.
Also had a change in quarterback the last two games.
Well, good point. Good point.
All right, DB, good stuff. We'll look forward to seeing a lot more of you on Wednesday for signing day.
Yeah, bright and early. Are either of you morning people? I know KC says he isn't. I think he can hit the switch. We got to rock this thing. You going to be good to go?
We did it last year. Look, just because I don't love to get up that early doesn't mean I can't handle it.
She can do it.
Casey, are you what are you bringing the bagels or what's happening, buddy?
I'm hoping you bring all the breakfast. I'm not going to be on your portion of the show. I have my own portion of the show, talking to some of the coaches. So that's going to be that might be not so early in the morning. Not by my request. They don't listen to me, but that's just how it worked out.
Can you at least do me a solid and bring me some of that beard grow? Because that thing is spectacular. And I've been working on this for 50 years.
It's a chia pet deal I got going on.
Can you bring me some of that beard oil?
Sure, I can bring you anything. I wish I had beard oil. I think I might have some. I don't think I've ever used anything else. It's the electric. I use an electric shaver, so it grows in nice. Nice.
I don't even own one. My barber shaves mine, so maybe that's the problem.
Oh, he's got a barber.
You do too.
Lord.
I don't have a specific barber. I just show up and whoever has scissors cuts
my
hair.
Well, you complained about a 45-minute haircut and you looked immaculate. That just lets you know I'm high maintenance. You are not.
Can we please? I know we're up against it, but how about Kyle losing his charts?
Oh,
out the window.
God. Listen, I'd never seen anything ever, and the booth, how calm everybody was. These charts are immaculate. Jess, you've seen them.
Yes.
They are so good. It's ridiculous. And it goes out the window. I thought he was joking. He gives the casual, what?
I look at Benny Mac and
Ben just like
Ben,
a child.
And you know, Ben goes into full-fledged superhero mode. He's he's standing in front of me. He's in the way. I'm just like, so he comes back with the charts, and I'm like, how did you get the charts? Just casually, well, just went down to club level. They were in front of the guys' seats down on third floor and just went and grabbed. I mean, nobody panicked. It was incredible.
And if you would have told me that Kyle lost his charts out the window, I would have thought there would have been panic.
No,
you should have heard how he said it. He was like, huh.
Well, he said it. He said it was during commercial break. He's like, my charts just flew out the window.
Yeah, he goes, my charts just flew out the window. Those
There's enough memorization.
Those might be gone.
I know you put so much work into them. I don't even know how much.
There's enough memorization during the week that if I were to lose both of them, that you just kind of do it off of memory, just by memorizing names and numbers.
And I watch you too. So like in the pregame before we go on, like you're giving it the triple, quadruple take. Like it's too many colors and.
When I tell you the amount of people that commented, because I posted that because I thought it was funny, the amount of people that thought we were the coach's booth and that was a play sheet.
And that was the reason why Nebraska
we
lost.
lost to Iowa. And people don't take the moment to do a second of research to look at my profile to be like, oh, he's the broadcaster, not the offensive coordinator.
I do also thought it was funny how many people said, oh, I saw those fly over my head.
The entire press corps did.
In real time, I think, was it Keith? I don't know. It was one of the guys. I'm texting. I said, I think this guy's play sheets just flew out the window. Like, I'm just trying to keep my composure. It was incredible.
All right. Well, we'll see you bright and early Wednesday morning.
All right. You guys
be good. TB.
Thanks.
Damon Benning here with us on Sports Nightly. Got to get to a break. More coming up right after this.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole. Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official Internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Just got a minute left here of hour number one. Kyle, I was worried about you. How did you handle your first Nebraska winter storm?
We didn't have any shoveling to do, which is good. Did some steps outside. It's cold, a little windy. It's good to see snow again, but I'm good. I'm good for a year.
So did you get out? Did you venture out at all?
Not too far. I walked to the gym and back. It's right next to my apartment, so probably walk for about a minute outside. That was good enough.
We gotta step up your glove game. We found out on Friday.
The knuckles and hands were very, very cold because I was holding out the binoculars, so that was the toughest part. Cold knuckles.
Glad you survived. All right, we gotta get to a break. We got still a lot to come. We gotta talk some volleyball, women's basketball. So come on back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, it's more than just buying a car. It's about the experience. Our team is dedicated to making every visit seamless, enjoyable, and personalized to your needs. Explore a wide selection of vehicles, from SUVs and sedans to trucks and luxury models, all backed by expert guidance and exceptional service. Whether it's your first car or your next upgrade, discover why generations of drivers trust Woodhouse for a truly memorable experience. Visit us at woodhouse.com today.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers. Starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Good evening. I'm Christopher Sullivan-Diaz, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the experienced advisors at Stonebridge Wealth Systems. Nebraska women's basketball moved to 7-0 by winning the Emerald Coast Classic Beach Bracket Championship in Niceville, Florida. The Big Red capped the crown with a 91-82 victory over Virginia after powering past Purdue Fort Wayne 80-57. Nancy Lieberman Award candidate Britt Prince captured tournament MVP honors by averaging 24 points and 6 rebounds in the 2 tournament games. In other Husker news, the number 1 Nebraska volleyball team capped an unbeaten regular season with a sweep of Ohio State at John Cook Arena at the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Saturday night. Nebraska finished the regular season unbeaten for the 3rd time in school history, dropping only 7 sets overall and 1 in Big Ten play. Matt Rule parted ways with defensive coordinator John Butler, with associate head coach Phil Snow filling in as interim defensive coordinator in the Huskers bowl game. And finally, in some NFL action on Monday Night Football, the Giants and Patriots match up at 7:15 p.m. Central. Our sports ticker is brought to you by Stonebridge Wealth Systems, navigating you to and through retirement of your dreams. Local advisors, a disciplined process, the Retirement Compass. Visit StonebridgeIWM.com. Hour 2 of Sports Nightly is up next, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Serve, sail to the back right. That's Maisie. Perfect pass. Center to Bergen Riley. Point, set, match. Big Red. That's perfection. 30-0. And the 2025 Huskers join the 1994 and 2000 Husker teams. Perfect in the regular season. And on to December we go.
Hoiberg in the corner with it as Jacobson back to Mass, puts it up. Got it! Bang! Bang! Bang-a-rang, Mass with 31. 4 under his career high. 3 under his career high.
Britt Prince down the floor. Right down the middle of the lane. And up the top! Britt Prince scores! Are you kidding me? She's got 22. Timeout, Virginia. That seal was better than super glue.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Kyle Crooks, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Got a lot to get to here. Hour number 2. We're going to talk some women's basketball here coming up in just a few minutes with the head coach, Amy Williams. The first net rankings have come out, and Husker women's basketball, number 15 in the country. They're 15th. Just outside the top 25. Men's basketball just outside the top 25. Should be ranked, but that's neither here nor there. But
yeah, they're situated at like 28th in the country right now. They're top 30 net ranking as well in the debut net, so that's a good sign for the Huskers, which shows that the resume is pretty good. Here heading into Creighton, which will be, they have a little bit of downtime, and we'll talk to Fred tomorrow on his show. But you have a little bit of downtime before Sunday when Creighton comes to town. But for women's hoops rolling along as well, still both unbeaten. And I'm sure both coaches have things that they want to work on. You mentioned that we'll have Amy on here in a little bit. But both coaches have to feel good. I know Fred was a little upset, though.
Yeah, he
after
was not
the
happy.
other day. He let the team have it in the locker room, and you covered that game. And he was pretty adamant in his post-game press conference that the attention to detail, the communication, it just was not good enough, and teaching moments in a win, that's a good thing, I guess.
yeah, it was pretty sloppy at times. And again, a place that Coach Hoiberg, 2 years ago, they were so good at home. In fact, went undefeated in Big Ten play and protected the home court, which is a big reason why they were able to get back to the NCAA tournament. Last year did not do as good of a job. And so Coach Hoiberg, very, very convicted about that going into the season of being better and protecting the home court. And while they were able to pull out the win and gutted it out, and best start since the 1977-78 season, he knows that kind of performance is not going to be good enough moving forward. And, he talked about getting the crowd involved and getting that building rocking. So they got to be better, and they've got to get off to a better start, especially coming up the next time they're out there on the floor coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, it's been weird because they've had better starts to games on the road. And you would think some of the home games that they've had have been against lesser opponents, although Winthrop, I think, is better than a lot of people give them credit for. I think there's a good chance they win their conference tournament, and they're playing in March in an NCAA tournament. But, USC Upstate, they have their good qualities, but that's a team that you probably want to blow away and win comfortably, which was not the case. And would you fall behind by as many as 12 in that game in the first half? And maybe part of it was the shock of Connor Segan out for the year. The announcement was that day. I'm sure they knew prior to when they announced it, but him going out for the rest of the year with an ankle injury. And I think the good thing is you'll get him now back hopefully for another year. And that'll be the case. But there's a lot of things that I think if you're Coach Hoiberg that you don't like, but that you like. I mean, Price Sanford continues to be, really good. He was great from the outside when he scored 20 the other day. And other guys are going to have to step up in the rotation with the season now gone.
Sanford has done a lot of different things. He came in, I think, thought of as just a shooter, but he's shown his ability to get to the rim. But I was really impressed with what he did on the defensive end on Saturday. And, he had back-to-back games where he had a whole bunch of rebounds. And so I think he's showing that he can be a complete player, not just a shooter. And we'll see how they move forward, because Connor Segan, as much as maybe he didn't have it going as much from three this season, he's shown what he's capable of doing, and just a huge piece that they'll definitely miss and have to figure out how they're going to fill that void. But so that will be a big one coming up on Sunday against Creighton. And as Kyle mentioned, Coach Hoiberg will be in live here tomorrow for his radio show, 6 to 7. We'll also chat with Jared Garcia in that. And Danny Busman-Kelly will be here in the second hour. So we'll have back-to-back coaches shows coming up tomorrow night for you. But how about Husker Volleyball? Way to finish out the season. Perfect in the regular season in conference play. And also the number 1 overall seed going into the NCAA tournament. They'll take on Long Island on Friday, 7 o'clock. And then with a win, we'll play Saturday at 7 o'clock, the winner of San Diego and Kansas State. But not really surprising. I think that was probably the easiest decision any NCAA committee has ever had to make in terms of seeding a tournament and who gets the number 1 overall seed, right?
What's interesting too, the way that they stack it up, and covering softball these last 8 years or whatever, you could see they build to the storyline.
Yeah, well, they did. Nebraska is very familiar with that with Husker baseball. A couple years ago, they had to go play at Arkansas. So, yeah, it's kind of what they do in these things.
But Louisville's the 2 seed on their side of the bracket. So if everything works out and goes chalk, that those two will meet. And how cool would that be, DBK coaching against her old team? And that'll be a lot of fun. But, no, it's amazing to see how this team has just been ultra consistent. Even with the emotion of senior day, you saw a lot of tears flow and things like that. And it's hard not to imagine this team at a minimum in the Final Four, right? And it's unpredictable. Once you get to the NCAA tournament, anything could happen. But it seems like with Nebraska and the way that they're viewing this potential run, that it's almost like it's a given. Like this team you could slot them into the Final Four. Players, coaches don't think that way. It's a terrible way to think. But if you're a fan and just an observer of the sport, it's almost like you could write them in right now into the Final Four.
Yeah, and I think while they embrace it, and they don't shy away from it, you and I have talked about that all season, and it's been refreshing because a lot of times teams don't want to speak that boldly, but they've known that, hey, this is our goal. But it's one step at a time at this point, and get to host, and, obviously starts on Friday night. But, yeah, certainly this is a team that I think most everybody in all of college volleyball would be an absolute shock if they didn't make the final, not even just the Final Four, but the championship game. I think at this point everybody would be shocked if they didn't win it all.
If they lose a set in the NCAA tournament. I mean, that's how
especially
crazy
the first
it's been.
couple of rounds.
Yeah.
So
I think the one thing that I do want to see eventually when they do get in a Final Four, right, they lose a set, say they're down a set in the Final Four. How do you react now to that specific adversity, knowing the team on the other side of the net is elite also, right? The Big Ten's probably down than it's been in years, but you played some ranked teams this year and you blew them out of the water. When you're playing a Texas on the other side of the net or a Kentucky on the other side of the net, and that place is packed, there's 15,000 fans there, and you're trailing by a set in a Final Four atmosphere, how does this team respond to that? I think that's the next thing.
I'll say this. What makes, since I've been here, I just think the depth, and not just even, players you can go to on the bench, but the way that Bergen Riley can spread it around. I think last year at this time when the Huskers go on their run to the Final Four, it was very heavily relied upon. Harper Murray had to carry a very heavy load. And I think that they've got way more deadly weapons and playmakers that, okay, if somebody's having an off night, I mean, they're just so impossible to defend. And because you've got so many different players, and how about Andy Jackson finishes, single season hit percentage in Big Ten volleyball history, 559. You know how hard that is. And so we'll talk more about that coming up tomorrow, I'm sure, with Danny and JB, but then also on the dig, as we'll have Kelly Natter in. But they've just got so many weapons that it just sets you up for, if you have that kind of adversity, that you have other playmakers. I think you could, if it's somebody's off night, hey, it's your turn tonight. We need you to step up and try to get us through a lull. I think and then, hey, if you got to go to the bench, you got a lot of players that have shown that they can step up in big moments too.
Yeah, there's a depth there that is elite. Also too, the pressure that's on your shoulders, and I hate to put more pressure on them, but of demons of years past, right? Of getting oh so close but falling short. How does this team, when they get back to that moment, embrace the fact that now you have the opportunity to wipe away all the bad memories of years past? A Harper Murray, an opportunity to win that national championship, and all these players to win that national championship. So I think it's a fascinating storyline because there's such a heavy favorite. And sometimes when you put so much in on one team as if you're a neutral observer out there, sometimes that doesn't come through. But I think this team is bulletproof in that sense because we've been waiting for it all year. It's just never come. Nobody's ever come close to knocking them off.
Oh, especially in Big Ten. I mean, Kentucky had a little bit, but Huskers reverse sweep them.
Yeah, and that was in August, right? So we've been waiting a long time for somebody to push them to the edge since that 5-setter. Creighton, right? That was the last one that
September,
sort of,
yeah.
And UCLA was the only one to win a set in Big Ten play. So, but I just, like you said, I think they're so deep that any thought that they could have any issues of somebody having it be their off night and then all of a sudden you're sitting back, you're down 2 sets or whatever. I just think they're so
deep. You can't
deep.
box and win them, right? I mean, so it's like so many other teams, they are so heavily reliant upon one player to carry such a heavy load. And even this program has been that way in the past where they've had, one player or 2 players carry such a heavy load that they have got to be on, or else you might be able, a team might be able to slip up on somebody or on Nebraska. But I just think for this team, you've got so many that it is, you cannot game plan for just taking out Andy Jackson. You can't game plan for just taking out Harper Murray.
Yeah, and I think too, it works in the opposite way. If you're an opponent and you're going up against Nebraska, you almost feel like you don't, in a way, like mentally you try to geek yourself up that, hey, we could win this, but maybe in the back of your mind, you're like, we probably aren't. Mm-hmm. So if you go down a set to Nebraska early, even in some of those great teams around the country, what's your mentality like when Nebraska has a set lead or a 2-1 set lead, or is 1 set away from clinching it? That's also, you could use the mentality on Nebraska's side. There's so much pressure on their shoulders, but some of these teams trying to pull off the upset when they go down early against Nebraska, do they have enough mentally to withstand what's on the other side of the net?
See, and I think, again, we've heard it all season long because, and I've asked this in a roundabout way multiple times, asking the assistant coaches on the dig, are you concerned at all that this team really hasn't had much adversity, especially through Big Ten play? And they always point to just how challenging their practices are. And yes, it might not be in front of a crowd, of a sold-out crowd or arena, but they push each other so hard, and they have battled, and they've been battle-tested every single day in practice. And I think they're ready. And then, not to mention, most of these players have been at the pinnacle, and they fully. Yes, there are some freshmen that are going to be, but most of the key players have been on this stage that, even though maybe this year they have not been, challenged as much leading up to the NCAA tournament, I don't necessarily worry as much because they've been there, they've done that, they know what it takes. And they know what happens if you to be on the short end of it.
And think of it this way. So the Final Four national championship is in Kansas City.
Be a home match.
Voila.
Yeah.
Right? So you think of once you get to that stage, you are now 98% most Big Red crowd. That's a massive difference to me. So it's just sort of how it shakes out for them, what they're going to have on their side when the moment is at its biggest and its brightest. They're going to have thousands of people in that arena on their side. That matters.
All right, good stuff again coming up. It'll be Friday. NCAA tournament gets underway for the number 1 overall seed Nebraska volleyball against Long Island, and John Baylor, Lauren Cook-West, as always, will be on the call for you starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. All right, going to step aside for a break. Coming up, we're going to talk some women's basketball with head coach Amy Williams. Nebraska women's basketball off to a 7-0 start, ranked number 15 in the net rankings, just outside the top 25 as well. So going to dive into all of that and preview their next one coming up against Bradley on Wednesday. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more at appliedconnective.com and go Big Red.
It's the Ford Black Friday Sell-a-thon, and it's go time with great deals across the Ford lineup. Get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days. Head to your Midwest Ford dealer during the Black Friday Sell-a-thon. Now get 0%, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Hurry in, these value-driven offers end December 1st. Go to your Midwest Ford dealers today. Official vehicle of your Kansas City Chiefs, driven by value.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Contracting your premium diesel just got energized at Central Valley Ag. With CVA's Refer a Friend program, you and a friend can each earn $100 back. Refer a friend, that friend contracts a minimum of 1,000 gallons of premium diesel, and you both get a $100 credit. Power your performance with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and Roadmaster XL. Details at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
You show up for every Husker game because it's about more than football. It's about celebrating that Nebraska grit that's in our DNA. That same drive pushes you to get stronger, move more, and take care of yourself. To show up for the people and moments that matter most. We believe you have what it takes. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska covers preventive care with every plan. And our digital tools help you stay on track every step of the way. Blue believes in what you're made of. And Blue believes in you.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole: Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Think a bunch of IT gurus would have anything in common with a dominant college volleyball team? Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of Applied Connective, serving Nebraska businesses for nearly 20 years. We're proud to have a few things in common with our beloved Huskers, namely that we're also a group of hardworking and highly skilled individuals that make up one dynamic team. From our IT and cybersecurity all-stars to our phone, physical security, infrastructure, and audio-video pros, we're one team that can expertly manage all your technologies. Discover why it's a game changer to partner with us at appliedconnective.com. And as always, go Big Red.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. What a start it's been for Nebraska women's basketball, off to a 7-0 start, receiving votes for the top 25 coming out today, ranked 15th in the net rankings, and Emerald Coast Classic champions last week. Here to talk about all of that is the head coach, Amy Williams. Congratulations. What a fun start for this group.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We've seen some really good things out of this team, an ability to kind of morph and be good in a lot of different areas at different times. But I think it just speaks to the potential that we still have, and trying to put everything together as we continue to move forward.
There's just watching you and how you coach, there's a lot of things I know that you're like, oh, we need to do this better. You're very much like, hey, improvement. But man, 7-0, what impresses you the most about what this group has done here in the early goings of this season?
Yeah, I think the thing I've been the most impressed with is just our ability to kind of adjust to different moments, when we needed to be able to handle pressure, when we needed to be able to go against and face zone and be effective, when we've, played really high pace or slow, people who slow things down and try to grind it out, and our ability to be able to find somebody that's going to step up in each of those situations. And it might be game to game, but it could be quarter to quarter. Mm-hmm. And, we, Fort Wayne, we play, and Logan Nisley, they saved their zone defense till the fourth quarter, and they went to that zone defense. And then Logan Nisley comes into the game and has 11 fourth quarter points. It's quarter to quarter, different players have really, stepped up and sparked us and helped us secure leads. And but all of it kind of tied together by a pretty special player in Britt Prince.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about your group too, is it seems like whoever it needs to be, they're okay with. It's not about, hey, I want to get mine. It is, let's find the hot hand and who needs to step up in any given moment. And that's not always an easy thing to do, to get a group to buy into that.
Yeah, this is just an outstanding group of young women that have bought into, like, they want to celebrate each other at a high level and celebrate each other's successes. And when you throw yourself into that, and when you work as hard as we do and you spend as much time as we do working towards common goals, then it's something where it's like, as long as we're, collectively succeeding, then, really this is a group that just doesn't really care who's getting the credit.
Ah, love that. All right, well, coming out today, courtesy of Jeff Griesch, put out the note that ranked 15th in the net, the first rankings for the net rankings that came out actually today. Tell our listeners what's the significance of that and the net ranking for women's basketball.
Yeah, well, the net ranking is it's a really important metric when it comes to tournament selection and seeding down the stretch. And so it's something that, as we are carefully looking to construct our non-conference schedule and pairing that with what we're going to get out of the Big Ten conference schedule, we're really careful about trying to, select the opponents very strategically that can help us with finishing with a higher net ranking, because we know that will ultimately help our seeding. And this is something where, this team is really focused on what can we do to be advancing in the NCAA tournament. And so when that's a focus and that's a goal for your program, then, those things matter. Just, 10, 12 different spots on your net ranking can make a real difference in the probability of your chances to advance in the NCAA tournament.
And potentially host, right?
Right. I mean, that's always a goal for us, is to be hosting NCAA tournament games at Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Okay, so you had mentioned Britt Prince and just how special she's been. She had, 30 points in the Emerald Coast Classic Championship. 6 assists, 4 rebounds. What is it that you're seeing out of her here in her sophomore year that's allowed for her to get off to this start?
Yeah, I think that, she's had a couple 30-point games already. And I think that when she is really aggressive offensively and thinking score first mentality, even though she's an incredibly unselfish player and really knows how to run the show and get so many people involved, when she thinks score first and is aggressive, our team is just better because then it does open up those passes for 6 assists. And so I just think she's really showing her versatility. She's been shooting it well from behind the arc. Her mid-range game has really, been on fire. But her finishing at the rim in year 2, just being able to take some contact and finish at the rim, I think has just been much, much better. And so we're seeing it pay off on all 3 levels.
When you guys played Virginia, they came into the game as the #1 scoring defense, and you guys scored 91 points. What were you able to do offensively that allowed for you to have that kind of production against one of the nation's best defenses?
Yeah, I mean, it was a contribution from a lot of different people. There was a stretch there where Haley Weaver came in and hit, back-to-back-to-back threes, basically, in a stretch there. Britt obviously affecting the game with 30 points and 6 assists. But I thought, Logan Nisley coming into that ball game and just being able to use pass fakes against a pretty stingy kind of baseline zone defense that they try to do that throws a lot of people off, that they force a lot of turnovers. And she had 4 assists in that game and just integral in sparking us offensively. There was just, contributions. Maya Hargrove had an outstanding tournament, was named to the all-tournament team, and I thought was just on a mission. Just really every time we needed a big bucket, she made a big play, got an and one, got an offensive rebound. But ultimately what it came down to is not only was Virginia the #1 scoring defense team in the country, but they were also #1 in rebounding margin. And that was something that we really kind of put a focus on, and we out-rebounded them by 8. And that was a huge key in the game as well.
That was my next question. I'm like, you got to love the rebounding stats in that one, being what Virginia had done to teams going into it.
Right. I thought our team just really had a focus. Like yesterday in practice, we were kind of like, do we need to tell you that our male practice players are the #1 rebounding team in the country to get you to have the same effort and focus and energy towards rebounding? But I thought on both ends of the ball, Eliza Maupin, Jessica Petrie, just Amaya Hargrove, all of them really just made a focus to contribute on the rebounding end, and our guards getting involved. And there's a great healthy competition right now with who our board man is going to be at the end of each game.
So also another really great stat coming out from Greece is your bench scoring. You have a lot of stats that are top in the country, but I also love the one about the bench scoring. You're averaging 34 points off the bench, which is 11th in the country. That's another going back to that embracing your role and whoever needs it to be. That goes back to that too, right? Is, hey, if your role is coming off the bench and we need you to produce, but that's pretty impressive that players have embraced that role as well.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of players on our roster that are starters, and you can only put 5 of them in the starting lineup, but there are many players kind of coming in to spark us that we could easily have in our starting lineup just as easily. So I feel like we get great production off our bench, and we're really fortunate to have that depth and balance, and anybody can be in the lineup or come off the bench and really just bring what they bring to the table, and just understand that it doesn't really matter where my minutes come as long as I'm productive with the minutes that I get.
It's great. Okay, so coming up next, you got Bradley here back at home inside the friendly confines of PBA, 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Tell us about that matchup and what that looks like for your team.
Yeah, so, Bradley is going to be a really competitive opponent, and I think part of that net ranking is, picking out opponents that are really quality wins that maybe people don't know or understand just, how quality of a win it is to beat North Dakota State on a neutral site, or even, IPFW, and teams that, may not, be a Power 4 name, but definitely their women's basketball programs are at a state where their net is going to be a top 80 win for our team. And I think Bradley's right there in that conversation of just being a really competitive team. They're coming off some great performances down in their holiday tournament, and have one of the most prolific scorers in the country right now, and number 2 in the three-point field goals made, and just balanced scoring and tough, hard-nosed players that play really hard. So it'll be another really tough, competitive game.
And when you talk too about, again, preparing yourself and facing teams that prepare you for the long run, and what, achieving some of the goals that this program wants to, going back to the back-to-back wins in the tournament last week, how important was that, just the quick turnaround and being able to face a quick opponent, and how good will that bode for you guys moving forward?
Yeah, I think that was a really, awesome time to have that challenge of being able to have to put together back-to-back games. And, for a player like Britt Prince to have to play back-to-back days of 35-plus minutes, works towards her, ability conditioning-wise to kind of handle that load, but also just for our entire team to have to, we have one 45-minute shoot-around to try to get a whole new game plan implemented for that day 2 game, and I think our kids really handled that well. They had great focus about them, and it was a really good start to, those challenges.
So if fans listening in, they know you well. You are one game at a time, so it is all about Bradley. But if you look ahead, you do have a big Big Ten conference opponent coming up against Penn State after that. And we won't have you on before then. So I know matchup-wise you're all in on Bradley, but how important is, kind of getting off to a good start here with this December Big Ten opponent matchup against Penn State?
Yeah, it's a little unique, kind of the way we throw one Big Ten opponent game in early December, and that's to make it so that the schedule is not so condensed once Christmas break is over and you're right in the thick of it, so that every team is ensured by situations where they, have a little bit of time, during the grind of the Big Ten season. So it will be interesting to, in the midst of non-conference play, to kind of have to flip your mind and to go on the road to play a really tough Big Ten opponent. And that's something that is a challenge for, everybody in the league, is to have that kind of early December conference game. And so, I'm glad that we've had some of the challenges we've had up to this point to help prepare us for that.
Okay, so a lot of really, really good things obviously happening. You don't get off to a 7-0 start without that. But what are the areas that you're looking for? Okay, we have to continue to improve in this moving forward for this basketball team.
Yeah, I think, we were really pleased that we were able to out-rebound Virginia, but we continue to have plenty of possessions that we can show in film session where our rebounding can continue to grow, and just knowing that that's such a team effort, and that we're going to have everybody being disciplined in order to take care of things in that rebounding area. And then our ball screen defense is something that we've continued to work on. We had a few days when we came back from the Florida trip, and we've been working on some additional opportunities and ways to be able to defend and particularly get better at our ball screen defense.
It's so funny. I did an interview the other day, and I was asked about your team, and I said, yeah, we could talk about the scoring all you want, but if you ask Amy Williams, the first thing she'll talk about is defense. That's what you like to see, because that is what a lot of times leads to you guys being able to put up points, right?
Yeah, and I think that because this team, we have a lot of capable scorers. We have plenty of players that can put points up on the board, and that for us it's easy to want to focus on the things that, somebody's going to step up on any given night there, but defensively, knowing that that's something that all of us could get just a little bit better at. That's going to be where my focus continues to lay.
Awesome. Well, great stuff. Thank you so much for being here, and best of luck coming up on Wednesday. Glad you guys are back. I know it wasn't that long ago, but it seems like it's been a while since you've been back at PVA.
I know. We're excited to be back, and Husker Nation come out. It should be a fun game on Wednesday.
All right, again, 7 o'clock against Bradley, and Jeff Creech, Matt Coatney will be on the call for us, starting with the pregame show at 6:30. Got to step aside for a break. More coming up right after this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle.
Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right coverage. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3, Wildcats!
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
See Shelter agents Craig Kerr, Jeff Bond, or Matt Moorhead in Lincoln today.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the propane tank on your grill first, before hosting a tailgate.
Let's fire up. Here, let me try. Seriously? You didn't check the propane? Who wants chips?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Salt and vinegar?
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Dear weekend, Toyota trucks are raring to go. Gearing up for fall, Tundra is all in for hauling. Campers, ATVs, you know Tundra's got the muscle to move it. Going off the beaten path? Tacoma says, let's do this. With handling that tackles tough trails and the backbone to take you where the pavement can't. Both trucks pack sweet tech, posh cabins, and Toyota's legendary reliability. So whether it's a fishing trip at dawn, tailgate at noon, or a remote sunset at, well, sunset, these trucks are built to make every weekend epic. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, Baxter Toyota of Lincoln, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, or Village Point Toyota of Omaha.
From the chant of Husker Power to Allo Fiber powering your home and Husker Nation, Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. With Allo plus DirecTV plus Allo Mobile, you get the ultimate teamwork. Internet you can count on, TV you can stream anytime, anywhere, and nationwide coverage you can depend on. Bench the other guys and team up with the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole, Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no peace of mind like knowing you have a dedicated team of technology experts working for your business around the clock. Hey Lincoln, I'm Ed Knott, president of tech company Applied Connective. It's a privilege to serve our great state for nearly 2 decades now with managed IT, cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, and audio-video solutions. Our team understands the importance of fitting you with the right technologies to help your business perform at its peak potential all day, every day. Discover more at appliedconnective.com and go Big Red.
We need your help, Husker fans. Nebraska is competing against other Big Ten schools in the Abbott We Give Blood Challenge, and it's time to defend our title. You can donate towards Nebraska anytime, any place, anywhere. Just find a donation center near you and log it on big10.org/Abbott, ABBOTT, to help the Huskers win $1 million towards the school. Every donation counts. Let's show the Big Ten the power of Husker Nation. And last check, we were told today, I think we're about 200 behind Wisconsin. So it all ends coming up this weekend. So a few more days left to move past Wisconsin and defend the title and go back-to-back on the We Give Blood drive. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Great stuff from Amy Williams. And again, coming up Wednesday against Bradley. But it's, as we talked about in the first segment, off to a great start for both teams. They're both really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, and they got superstars. I think that's what's cool, too, is you go out to the arena every night and you're going to see some stars play, whether it's Britt Prince, Rink Mast for the women's and men's teams. So I think that's cool that you have the star power as well for these teams, and you have not seen a loss yet. The schedules are going to get a little bit tougher for both these teams. When you mentioned Penn State's coming up here on the women's side, of course, you have Creighton, and then Wisconsin's right around the corner for the men. So Big Ten plays, of course, intensifies the competition on a nightly basis, but I think both of these teams are now equipped and have a good sample size to realize what they are, what they aren't, and what they have to work on. And I think both coaches are pretty excited about what they got.
All right, so we now know more of the coaching carousel. It worked itself out a little bit more over the past few days. Which one was the most shocking for you? You were at the beginning of all of it. You were pretty dead set Lane was going to Florida.
Well, I think that was the plan. I think if you read the stories, there's a reason why Lane did not go to Florida after the first meeting. Didn't go all that well, but I think Lane wanted to coach at Florida. I think that was pretty evident. And then LSU, because Florida had fired their coach prior to Brian Kelly getting fired at LSU, so Florida was the only big dog in town. And then LSU changed everything when they hopped in the mix. In terms of anything surprising, I don't necessarily think anything has stood out to me. I think Alex Golish is a name that everybody threw out there. He winds up taking the Auburn job, which I think is a good fit there. The American Athletic Conference they have a lot of guys or a lot of teams that are looking for a new coach. The Memphis coach ends up going to Arkansas. That seems like a fit that makes sense. I know a lot of Arkansas fans were pretty underwhelmed with that. And John Sumrall, if you watch his press conference today, and he got the seal of approval from Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, and it seems like he's sort of a 180 emotional, temperament-wise from what they had in Billy Napier. So, again, you're not going to know until you start playing games what these guys actually bring to the table. Penn State still looking for their guy. It looks like BYU, their head coach is the leader in the clubhouse, but the fact that Penn State still hasn't hired anybody yet is pretty surprising to me. I think that would be the one biggest surprise, is that all these teams, the dust is settled, the music's done in the musical chairs, and Penn State's still sitting there looking for their guy. Yeah, and it's already started. Even though the portal doesn't officially open until that first week of January, you're already seeing, it seems like every time this year, my timeline's just flooded with guys saying, I'm going to enter the portal. I decided to enter the portal, and I think you're already seeing that. Well, the calendar is a mess. We've seen it, and it's been mentioned even more with Lane Kiffin and the timing of that, because you need to get that guy in to then do their evaluations around signing day and the transfer portal. You need guys in place. But then also, if you're a John Sumrall who's coaching at Tulane, you still have the opportunity to coach in a conference championship game, to coach in a potential playoff as the Group of Five representative. And then Lane Kiffin, I know he wanted to coach at Ole Miss, but it's different within a Power Four teams within the same conference. It's hard to allow Lane to be able to coach in the playoffs. So you have guys that are actively coaching other teams, but also have jobs at other places that have already had their press conferences. So it's just, the calendar is incredibly weird, and it's got to change at some point in college football, because it's not in the best interest of anybody.
And to add to that messiness of the calendar, well, and the craziness of this next 30 days, coming up on Wednesday is signing day, as we mentioned earlier. And so we'll have full coverage for you coming up across all of our Huskers football and Huskers social media platforms on our YouTube channel as well. But it's a smaller class. And, if you look in terms of the overall rankings, Nebraska is not going to be up in the top 25 like they were last year. But again, a lot of that has to do with they've got a lot of young talent that's coming back. They expect to come back, and with the roster downsizing, the numbers and all of that. But it's a small group, but it's a group that is addressing several needs. And I know it's a group that they're really, really excited about across the country. You've got some of the top players in each of their states. And so while it's not going to be massive in the numbers, they've got some really, really good players in this class.
Yeah, you look at the numbers, so 9 total on 10 including the kicker that got added. But you have 3 offensive linemen in that mix in total. You have a pair of wide receivers. I think looking at it, too, there's a lot of Southeast representation, whether it's Georgia or Florida. You have the 2 receivers out of the Southeast, one from Orlando, one from Powder Springs, Georgia, running back out of Charlotte. So you're looking East Coast representation. You have the tight end is from Anaheim, California. So you're moving all throughout the map. Just shows how national recruiting is now, especially the work that these guys put in around the country to get to some of these guys. Like you said, there's a big need for offensive line. You went out, got 3 of them, tight end, running back. You got one of the best cornerbacks in the class, 5-star, in Danny Odom. So that's a huge name. Claude Mpuma, I know, that was a huge addition out of Chicago on that offensive line. He was wanted by a lot of different schools. So there's some really good players in this class, just a smaller class. I think they're excited, too, about 27, I think, is a big class.
Yeah, it is. And again, you have to keep in mind, a transfer portal, you've got to have some spots open for that. And so I think the days of signing 25 in a class is just not going to be something that you see every single year, although I think next year's class is going to be bigger, and it is. They've made a big push on it. Trey Taylor leading the charge. There's a bunch of them on the sideline on Friday against Iowa. And so it's a class that is shaping up nicely. And so, but again, we're going to be celebrating the 2026 class. While it might be small, certainly some players that they are very, very excited about. So we'll be able to dive into all of that coming up for you on our signing day coverage on Wednesday. All right, got to get to a break. When we come back, we'll have our weekend winners for you here on this Monday night edition of Sports Nightly.
Since 1975, Woodhouse has proudly served our customers and communities. From one dealership to over 21 dealerships across Nebraska and Iowa, our promise remains the same. A wide selection of vehicles, trusted service, and financing that fits your life. We believe in honest people, fair prices, and relationships built to last. Because it's not just about the road ahead, it's about traveling it together. Start your journey at woodhouse.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agents Reed Duvall, Natalie Kerr, or Mike Shefford in Lincoln today.
The work is dirty and sometimes dangerous. It's the kind that can break your body, and if you let it, your spirit. But while there may be better ways to make a living, you won't convince me there's a better way to live. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Returns on the farm are under pressure, with market challenges and environmental hurdles putting every seed to the test. But you have an ace in the hole. Streamline Ag. Designed for every phase of growth and development, Streamline Ag gives your seed what it needs to thrive, from enhanced stand establishment and early emergence to essential nutrition and stress management. Streamline Ag gives your seed the power to reach its full potential. Visit us at streamline-ag.com to learn more.
Contracting your premium diesel just got energized at Central Valley Ag. With CVA's Refer a Friend program, you and a friend can each earn $100 back. Refer a friend, that friend contracts a minimum of 1,000 gallons of premium diesel, and you both get a $100 credit. Power your performance with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and Roadmaster XL. Details at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Monday night edition. And before we get to our weekend winners, do want to give you an update on a friendly little poll competition we left you with before Thanksgiving, and we had a draft. We
don't have to.
Each drafted Thanksgiving side dishes, and then we put it out for the people to vote, and I ran away with it. Josh finished second, and you and Camden were way behind. You had the cranberry sauce and
sweet potato
casserole. Camden had rolls and what did he have? Rolls and carrots.
That was a loser from the start.
I think you guys finished like 7%, 6%.
Yeah, that was tough. Watching the percentages, waiting for them to go up and just not move. People didn't realize it was snake draft, right? So people didn't realize
you still had the number one overall pick.
And sweet potato casserole is a very good number one overall pick. It's just when you get into the depth of the two. People say, "Oh, why would you choose this? Well, we didn't have that many options when it came down to it."
I can't believe nobody picked mashed potatoes, though.
I thought about it, and then I didn't.
Yeah, and that cost you because
there's too many potatoes, too many carbs on that list.
So I was the winner of that. So all right, let's get to our weekend winners. Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah, let's give it up for the Chicago Bears, #1 seed.
Hold on, let's turn on his mic real quick. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give it to the Bears, #1 seed in the NFC. I'm pretty happy for the first time since 2018, so I'll take it.
I was going to say the Bears, too.
You were? You were actually going to mix it up?
I was, because the Colts lost this weekend. Do I give it? I guess I got to give it to the surging Texans right now. They've won 9 in a row, is it? Houston Texans, after a rough start, they beat my Colts this weekend, so I'm going to go to a division rival, and I'm going to say Houston Texans are my weekend winner.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
Hard for me to say.
David, what do you got?
Well, I'll keep it with the Huskers. One of my favorite volleyball players, Andy Jackson, of course, because she set the new Big Ten single season hitting percentage with .559 in conference matches. And when she found out, she was beyond happy about it and super humble. So I just think she's the best player ever.
Love that. I love that you said that, but I also hate it because that was mine, so you stole mine. So I'm going to give it up to Marty Smith and his reporting and following of the Lane Kiffin saga all day Saturday, and then he tracked him down at the airport. That was some next-level reporting. At one point, he was just texting Lane, please, dear God, make this be a resolution tomorrow.
Yeah, he was interviewing him on the tarmac. By the way, I said the Texans had a 9-game win streak. They have a 4-game win streak. They're close enough.
You were a little off on that. No, that was hilarious. So they kept going back to him, and you could tell as the day went on, he was getting more and more annoyed with the situation.
I think everybody was. I think America was annoyed waiting for his choice, although I think everybody had a good handle on what he was going to do after the Egg Bowl game. That was the decision. The ultimatum was made by Keith Carter, the Ole Miss AD. We need a decision by the Egg Bowl. I think everybody kind of knew what he was going to do. And
it was just the holdup was he wanted to coach in the college football playoff.
Sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side.
We will see. We will see. All right, coming up tomorrow again, full 2 hours here, but we'll have our men's basketball hour coming up 6 to 7. Kyle will be here with Coach Hoiberg. And we'll hear from Jared Garcia. And then hour number 2, we will have our Husker Volleyball show with John Baylor and Danny Busby Kelly. I'm pretty sure it'll be our final volleyball hour of the year. In fact, we normally don't do it in the postseason, but Coach DBK has graciously agreed to do one more for us. So get those questions in on our text line for John Baylor to ask the head coach heading into the NCAA tournament here coming up tomorrow. So that will be in the 7 o'clock hour. So it should be a fun 2 hours. And then, of course, we'll have signing day coverage coming up for you on Wednesday starting at 7:30 a.m. And we'll have a short one leading into women's basketball on Wednesday. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. It's the Ford Black Friday Sell-a-thon, and it's go time with great deals across the Ford lineup. Get 0% APR, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers during the Black Friday Sell-a-thon. Now get 0%, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on select Ford vehicles. Hurry in, these value-driven offers end December 1st. Go to your Midwest Ford dealers today. Official vehicle of your Kansas City Chiefs, driven by value.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
It's not a job. I don't start my day by logging in or end my shift by punching out. I don't have a corner office, but I do have a seat with a view. I get to see every sunrise and every sunset. And while I may technically be my own boss, I fully accept that I am not in charge. I'm a Nebraska corn farmer, and there's nothing else I would rather be.
Brought to you by the Nebraska Corn Board.
Contracting your premium diesel just got energized at Central Valley Ag. With CVA's Refer a Friend program, you and a friend can each earn $100 back. Refer a friend, that friend contracts a minimum of 1,000 gallons of premium diesel, and you both get a $100 credit. Power your performance with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and Roadmaster XL. Details at cvacoop.com. Central Valley Ag.